Hello, I'm Harriet, and this is Mauro, and this is Tofu. So it's mostly going to be me in this video because this is a video about everything we've done since I moved into our farm about 6 weeks ago. And Mauro is still living in the city, unfortunately. He's still working in an office there, whereas I work remotely. So I made the move, and I moved here about 6 weeks ago, and I just want to show you everything that we've been doing since then. Go then. Hey. So it's been ages since I did the last video. I was trying to do these more regularly, every month or so, or maybe every couple of weeks, but it's really hard. It's hard to find time to film stuff. It's hard to find time to actually do stuff to film because I'm working all the time. It's hard to find time to edit things together, and it's just hard to do any of those things well. So I guess that's why I've put it off for a while. But now we've been here for a while. I've been here for a while, and I've done quite a lot of stuff. So I think it's time that I showed you some of the things that we've been up to. So I moved here in the middle of September, and it was a big leap, the actual move itself, because at the time we didn't have, we didn't have any furniture in the house. We didn't have a bed. We didn't have any furniture really, apart from a desk that I needed to be able to work from. We did have our solar panels already installed. We did have water coming to the house, kind of, although it's not great. So we had some of the basics covered, but there was a lot left that we felt that we needed to do before the house was kind of ready. But at some point we just said, you know, we've got to do it at some point. We've got to make the move. If we don't do it now, when will we do it? So we did it. So I moved here, and knowing that things would be fairly uncomfortable at the beginning, but little by little since then we've been getting on top of a few things that really needed sorting out. We've been improving the house, making it a little bit more habitable and homely. One of the things I did really early on when I moved here was to install these mosquito netting windows here. Later I put the plant pots underneath as well. That was a nice touch. But the first couple of weeks I was working on getting the material for these and cutting out all the frames, and I've got it down here as well because these things have gaps in. So this is our outdoor kitchen, and the reason I decided to focus on getting this area kind of protected from mosquitoes, you can see this little blind here as well, is because I was spending a lot of time out here cooking, just sitting, and it's a really nice area. Well, it's a complete mess, but it's quite a nice area to be, and it is the kitchen. It's where a lot of stuff happens, you know, and it was just really, really annoying me that it wasn't nice to be here because there were so many mosquitoes and flies and stuff getting in. I don't know why, but the mosquitoes seem to just love being in the shade in here. So I put up these window frame things with this mosquito netting material, and it has made such a difference. Tofu! I also did the same thing on this upstairs door in our bedroom. This is not done to such a high standard. I did make a little kind of window here so I could open it and get to this little balcony because I want to put plants here. But I did do the same up here because this is another door that I like to have open a lot, and it was getting very annoying that mosquitoes and things were coming in when it was open. I know these doors don't look like much, they look very kind of simple, but I would just say that I don't have a lot of experience in anything kind of related to DIY. And this whole, well, everything in this house is wonky. So everything that looks like a square is not a square. It's like a, I don't know, a parallelogram or something. Whatever those shapes are called that are like not squares but have completely different length sides. And everything was just a lot more complicated than you would think because nothing is straight. I also spent quite a lot of time working on this upstairs room actually. Because this was the room that was going to need to be our bedroom. And originally there was no bed. In fact, originally when we first bought this place, this was full of just rats' nests, old rotting kind of mattresses, furniture, sheets, blankets, absolutely full of dirt, and it was just quite horrible. But now you can see it's a fairly nice bedroom. I managed to get a bed, and what I'm also quite proud of having done is finishing this wall over here. So previously there was a load of junk piled up against this wall, and behind all of that junk was a huge stain on the wall just where this sort of square thing is, and I decided to find out what that stain was by knocking down that part of the wall, only to find that it wasn't really a stain at all. It wasn't damp, which is what I had been afraid of. It was actually just the colour of the mortar that had been used underneath the kind of thin layer of plaster showing through. There wasn't any damp issues at all, but I now had made a big hole in the wall which needed fixing. So over the summer, with the help of my mum, who stayed with us for quite a while, we built this kind of structure in front of that big gaping hole. The idea was that this would be kind of like a centerpiece for the room where previously maybe a chimney or a fireplace or something might have been. That was the aim. It's going to be bookshelves once we've got more books over here, and I'm planning to build like further bookshelves into the walls on either side, so that basically this whole wall is a wall of shelves. We've got enough books to fill those for sure. So that's my plan with this area, and I spent quite a lot of time over the last few weeks just plastering everything. Our brickwork was quite rough, so it took quite a bit of plaster to kind of smooth this thing up, and also painting it. So I've painted quite a lot of the walls in here. You can see where I haven't painted and everything is very stained still, but I don't know, maybe about a third of this room has been painted. So we also have furniture now, which is very exciting and makes such a huge difference. We've got this chair and sofa set and coffee table, which I picked up, along with this pretty gorgeous wardrobe, which actually doesn't fit up the stairs, but we'll try and work on that another time. I picked them all up from a guy who was trying to empty a big old house in a town. It was a huge kind of townhouse full of really old but good quality stuff. So I got a lot of stuff from there actually, including lots of random decorative things like these demijohns and this other demijohn over here, this huge cauldron, I also got, this is a copper cauldron, so I'm hoping to clean that up at some point and have it sparkly orange again. There's a big kind of chest just here as well, which I got. It needs a lot of kind of restoration work. It's very kind of eaten, but I'm hoping that we can treat it and replace some of the kind of fabric over here. A rocking chair, which is also in need of some TLC. The sofa makes such a difference. I can't tell you how much of a difference it makes. It was actually really getting me down over the first few weeks that I was here. Maybe 2 weeks until I got the furniture, because there was just nowhere for me to go and sit down and kind of just be comfortable and relax. There was basically just the bed, which at that point was a bed in a van, which was parked on our land. So basically when I wasn't sitting at my desk working, I was either cooking or I was just in the van on the bed reading or using my laptop or something like that. And I really, really missed just having somewhere just to chill. I didn't realise, how much you need somewhere just to sit down and relax that's not your bed. So getting this sofa was a real game changer. I have to mention as well, this is one other thing that we managed to get from the house clearance, which is a huge stone wash basin, and it weighs an absolute ton. But it's going to be... What are you doing? What are you doing? It's going to be our solution for washing our clothes and our sheets and everything. So it's big and it's got one of these like scrubbing areas on it. And the idea is I will set this up somewhere near where our whole like grey water system is. We'll have water running into it, hopefully from like a solar heated pipe that's mounted on the roof of one of these buildings. So we'll get some hot water and some cold water probably as well from another tank, so we can mix it. And this will be where we do our clothes washing, like they did in the old days. These sticks of wood have nothing to do with the washing project, by the way. These are just some rolled up kind of bits of fencing that I'm going to use to, well, I think they're usually used for like shade, but I'm going to use them for fencing, for keeping Tofu out of areas where he shouldn't go. Another thing I've been working on, or well, at least thinking about and exploring a little bit over the last few weeks, has to do with our water. So we're basically trying to transport water about 300 meters from a natural spring, which we have access to, up to the house, passing through various of these water deposits. And there's very little natural incline between the source of the water and where it needs to end up. So we have very low water pressure, and it's not really arriving with the kind of flow that we want it to. And I've been thinking about various solutions. I don't know what the right solution is at the moment. But one of the things I was thinking about was maybe putting a tank a couple of meters up a hill, pumping water into that tank, and then using the gravity and the natural kind of water pressure from having that water a little bit higher up as a way of getting the water flowing the rest of the kind of 260 meters or so. So that's something I'm just kind of looking at. I was clearing some space around where I thought I might be able to site that tank, and that might be something that we try. I couldn't get that tank there yet because it's way too heavy, but it's something that might be a solution. Just at the end of the kitchen here is where I've been working on some of the water, kind of grey water treatment. That makes it sound a bit fancy. Grey water disposal kind of stuff. So I'm looking back at the kitchen here now, and just over to my right is another kind of outbuilding tacked onto the end of the kitchen. And this is going to be our bathroom eventually. I mean, at the minute, it's just full of all sorts of bits and pieces, but it has actually got bits of plumbing coming in. This pipe here is really nothing special. It's just a plastic pipe that is feeding in from a 1,000 litre tank, which was originally mounted on the roof of the house. So we can pop a tank back up there and probably do something similar, have some piping come in like it is right now. There was previously a toilet here with water going into the cistern. We took that out when firstly because we don't want to have a conventional flushing toilet, we really like our composting toilet, but also we discovered that this out pipe here goes just past this wall here. There it is, and it comes out there, and this is just the neighbour's field, so yeah, we're not going to be using that. So anyway, that's going to be where the bathroom is. So there is going to be a sink in here, even if there's not a toilet, and that's going to produce grey water. There's also going to be a shower in here, hopefully, maybe in this corner. And we're hoping to just have like a wet floor and be able to like squeegee the water out of the shower rather than have like plumbing. So the idea is that water will come out of here, and we'll build a channel down here along the ground, and then we'll have a pipe coming from this channel which will be very slightly slanted downwards. It will go along here and it will drain out over this little wall here, and it will drain out into, first of all, a bathtub probably of worms, like a vermicompost sort of system first. The worms will eat any kind of organic matter, organic waste that's in there, because there's also going to be water coming from the kitchen, which is going to have bits of food and stuff. So we need like a bathtub just to go here, and then from the bathtub the water should drip into this big kind of pot that's got some papyrus and some hibiscus and water loving plants in it, and from that pot the water will hopefully just drain away and make a nice kind of very damp area around the floor, where we'll plant things. We might move this compost pile and try and benefit from a little bit of extra space where this water's going to drain. So we'll see how that goes. That's something that we're kind of working on at the moment. So we've been doing a few other odd projects, especially at weekends when we're both here. Things like plastering the chimney and making it look nice, tiling the floor of the chimney so that when we get the wood burning stove in a few weeks' time it looks nice. And apart from that, I've just been kind of living, really, doing the day-to-day things that you need to do to keep alive, healthy, clean, that you need to do no matter where you are. And that's been an experience as well, really. It's funny because you might think that living off grid, living like we do here with no real shower, no real toilet, no real kind of conventional kitchen, you might think that that poses a whole load of challenges and makes life a whole lot harder than it would be in a conventional kind of flat or house. And it's funny because in some ways it does. I mean, I have to heat my water up for my shower in the sun. I have to plan when I'm going to shower, when there's going to be sun. If I want to work out, I need to plan that into things as well. So in some ways there's things that you need to think about which are much more convenient in a normal conventional kind of house. But at the same time, there's so many things that I don't have to worry about that I would otherwise be spending my time on. I don't have a shower with a shower cubicle that I need to clean. I don't need to clean a toilet.
I can empty out the compost toilet, and it's actually a much more pleasant job than cleaning a normal kind of WC. Our outdoors kitchen is very basic. We only have a gas burner at the moment, so cooking is a simpler affair. And actually, the level of cleaning that you kind of feel like you need to do in an outdoors kitchen is less as well. It's not a kind of sterile place like many kind of modern kitchens are. Crumbs fall on the floor and ants will have cleared it up within a few hours. I can wipe down surfaces, but I know they'll just get dusty pretty much straight away. So the level of hygiene I feel obliged to maintain is adequate, but much lower than it maybe would be in a normal kitchen. And all of that kind of gives you a little bit more freedom to maybe not spend so much time doing these things and spend more time doing the other things that you really want to do.
So I hope that's given you an idea of what we've been up to and just basically how life is here at the moment. We've got so much more to do, but we're just trying to enjoy every day that we have here, really. We're already so much further than we ever could have imagined being this time last year. This time last year, we hadn't even seen this place. We were still dreaming of finding somewhere like this. So every day is like a huge just blessing that we get to be here and we get to just just live in this place. So yeah, I'll try and do another video soon, hopefully sooner than 2 months. Come on. And thank you for watching.